Transfer portal's always active. The quarterback position is the most important position in this sport. And I need to tell you, because one of you asked me, and we couldn't get it in on the Late Kick Extra podcast the other day, I need to answer this question. Someone asked, out of the portal quarterbacks, who has the biggest impact next year from Annandale, New Jersey? I don't ever like to answer with just one guy because that doesn't create a segment for us. But I'll give you 4 of them I have my eyes on. Now, on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, we have the top transfer portal quarterbacks with new teams. Sam Hartman is the clear number 1 here. So Sam Hartman was at Wake Forest. He's transferred to Notre Dame, 63% completion guy last year. Jesse, remind me in my ear, or you could just use the speaker if you want to, the chart you showed me earlier about yards after catch. Do we actually have that? Okay, so I'm going to give Jesse 1 second and we will. So that stat for Hartman there, I'm going to fill time here. He has the most passing touchdowns in ACC history. Now, I don't normally show visual elements on the show that you have to be watching to understand because a lot of you just listen via podcast, and I don't want to show you things that you can't have if you're listening on pod. So I'm going to try my best to tell you what you're looking at here. This is from our buddy Parker over at Stats-O-War on Twitter. Questionable opinions about life in various aspects, but really, really good follow for college football. Really data-centric, has the opposite of my problem. When you're in like the sort of ADHD lane, you can't look at numbers more than 10 seconds without it looking like a bowl of alphabet soup. He does a really good job. So this right here is a chart. On the bottom, you have air yards. That's just the amount of yards you threw the football in and then the receiver caught it, boom, right there. How many yards did you throw for? Then on the other side, I believe what would be the y-axis. This shows you how little I delve into this stuff. Those would be yards after catch. See that little icon that's all the way in the far bottom right corner of your screen? That would be Sam Hartman alone on an island out there throwing for a ton of yards, and then that would be Sam Hartman's receivers doing absolutely nothing after the catch. Wild. Yeah, great quarterback, ton of yards, and then basically however far he threw it is where the chains will be set and where the ball will be spot for the next down. He goes to Notre Dame. I cannot promise young Samuel that he'll have a plethora of yards after the catch specialists up there either. He's also got a new coordinator, so we'll see. That's one to keep an eye on because he's a really good talent. The other one that I am very intrigued by is DJ Uiagalelei because we're not talking about Clemson anymore. By the way, I got 4 names for you here, and every one of them is an ACC quarterback leaving the ACC. DJ goes to Oregon State, for those of you who have not been keeping track at home. This last year, it was a very, very weird thing because his season ended poorly. He ends up transferring, but there was a time where he was playing pretty good football, or at least his numbers made it look like he was playing pretty good football, and it was the first 8 games of the season. I got them right here in front of me. They're handwritten, though. It looks like Brandon Walker's cursive. So they started 8-0. And he was a 64% completion percentage guy first 8 games. The last 5, 59%. Their passing yards per game with him went from 225 to 142. Yards per attempt, 7.7 to 5.3. And those first 8 games, this is really kind of where it swung. He was a 17-4 touchdown to INT guy. Then it was 5-3 over the last 5 games. And you saw Cade Klubnik play a little bit too. Anyway, you saw what happened at Clemson. Yeah, he transferred. They fired the OC. So you get Garrett Riley come to Clemson, and he's got Cade Klubnik, and everyone, myself included, expects improvement. But what if DJ was just in an unwinnable situation? And he all of a sudden goes to Oregon State, and he starts playing really good again. You know, kind of like he did the first time you ever saw him in that Notre Dame game. I don't know that we should be giving up on DJ Uiagalelei just because he, maybe through some external factors, along with his underachievement, hasn't lived up to everyone's expectation yet. Let's be careful. Just be careful selling him all the way down the river. Devin Leary was at NC State. Now he's at Kentucky. I need one of you to make sure he stays healthy. I'm not sure Kentucky's offensive line is going to be up to the challenge. 47 sacks given up last year, last in the SEC. We just talked about that a little while ago. So If you can guarantee me he can stay healthy, which was a problem last year, if you can guarantee me he stays healthy, in 2021, he was the only quarterback in America with at least 35 touchdowns and less than 5 INTs. So we're not talking about untapped potential here. We've seen him play pretty high-level football. Certainly more than high-level enough for Kentucky to look at him and say, if we get that from him, we'll be okay. We'll surprise a lot of people. And so if they can get a healthy Devin Leary, which is up to them, then Kentucky's always in a position where they could surprise some folks, especially since they did not hit their over-under last year. They didn't hit the over. Over-under was 8.5. They went 7-6. And so now everyone will find it trendy to sell on them. Will Levis is gone. Well, they got a pretty good quarterback in there. It's the pieces around him we need to wait and see about. The last one I wanted to talk to you about for a second is Jeff Sims. Do you remember him? What do you remember about Jeff Sims? Well, he was at Georgia Tech. Now he's at Nebraska. That was the trivia question at the top of the hour. I think there's a lot left in the tank with him. I'm on an island a little bit there. That's okay. All I ever hear about Jeff Sims is he's 7-16. Well, yeah, he played on a team that was 7-16. I guess you're the starting pitcher if you're the quarterback, so that's your record. I'm thinking about fit. I'm thinking about Matt Rule sitting up there voluntarily in Lincoln, Nebraska saying, Jeff Sims has NFL tools. He has NFL potential. He's not the only person I've heard say that about Jeff Sims. His career thus far has not borne that out, but he's got a little while left to go in his career. And his size, his ability in Matt Rule's offense could provide an immediate spark for them. So let's keep an eye on Jeff Sims as well. Those are 4 portal quarterbacks that I've got my eye on.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.